push-ups. I've been doing sit-ups. I've been doing chin-ups. I've been doing pull-ups. I threw up once, but I'm okay now.
What's up and welcome everybody to a Monday edition of the Ysn Power Hour, proudly powered by our friends at Toyota of Warren. DJ Yoakley with you, coming off the weekend, coming off a lot of stuff that we're still kind of cooking here in Stream City, trying to make things a reality, and some good things coming to a head in the weeks, months, and especially years to come. But we're here on this Monday. The brackets have been announced for both men's and women's March Madness. We're excited for that. And amongst a lot of other things, we still got a team in the dance. We still have a team that is looking to win a state championship. It is the newest team of all of the teams here at YSN. It's the Archbishop Hoban, Akron Hoban, whatever way you want to call them. Just call them, because they are in the state semifinals that start on Saturday and Sunday. For them, they will be in it for the first time in 25 years of waiting. Hoban going to state. You can find that article on ysnlive.com. Another good one put out by Anthony Hartwig, our content director and social media director. Make sure you check it out, because there's a lot of people here that aren't familiar with Archbishop Hoban, other than the stigma that comes with it anytime a team plays them. But guess what? They're the good guys now. They're on our side, and we're on their side. So I'm excited for that. We'll have a team in coverage. I believe Ty and Dom O'Brien will be heading to Dayton to cover the Archbishop Hoban Knights in their relentless pursuit of a state basketball championship. We wish them all the luck in the world. Speaking of Ty Bartell, our birthday shout out goes out to none other than the one, the only, the guy that's been here for 4 years, 5 years, something around that. I think it's 4 years. Ty Bartell, the proud alum of Austintown Fitch, and now the proud voice of everything YSN. Ty Bartell came to us as a puppy, and he is now a big dog on the porch here at the network. Could not be more proud of this young man as he continues to just find himself in the broadcasting, find his voice, learning a lot of the business side now. We've had a chance to go out to Las Vegas together as part of the NFL flag football event put on by Game Changer, and certainly was exciting for us, and a young man who continues to just thrive at these opportunities that he's given. So happy birthday, Ty. I want to say this is 24 for the big fella, which Ty is. People see him on this and they think he's just like a normal sized human being, maybe even an undersized human being like myself. My dude is gargantuan. He is humongous. He's a big boy with a big heart, and we're happy to have him. Ty Bartell, happy birthday to you. We're proud of you. All right, so there's things that we want to talk about today. And this is going to get a little high horse here from a standpoint of kind of question and answer with myself. I have some questions, because if anybody was able to watch or take in maybe highlights or some videos that we saw on Facebook and multiple platforms for social media, you may have seen something down in Columbus that was really interesting to you with regards to the OHSAA and a new partnership that they have for wrestling, which leads me to some of the questions we've posed in the last months and years with the OHSAA and really any part of some of these partnerships that we're seeing across the board. So schools, naturally, people don't understand, I think, nearly enough. Schools are businesses and they're educational institutions is what they and how they should be classified. Now, what you're seeing and what why YSN is in existence is basically because we are a network of educational and athletic institutions that we're trying to make sure they're all on the same network, so you or the end user can see these teams, these student athletes, coaches, and communities at the drop of a hat, be able to utilize them. Throughout the years, 6 years to be exact, YSN and others like YSN have been posed with fees, and we've been browbeaten by whether it's educators or administrators or whoever it may be, because we are taking money off the backs of students with our programming, when in reality it's the exact opposite. We're helping promote those student athletes as well, if not better, than those educational institutions. We want you to be able to educate. We want you to be able to coach. We will take the burden of writing stories, promoting them on our platform. To me, that's why YSN is so effective and how we have been so effective over these last 6 years is because we have people, we have sponsors, supporters, advertisers, whatever name you want to drop into that bucket. We've had people that look at what we do and they say, I like that. I want to be seen by the same people that are watching your programs. And oh, by the way, we want to support you along the way because that is what you do. So I can give you the kind of brass tacks around why we do and how we're funded is through those advertising and the multiple channels that we've been able to create through revenue and revenue sharing with some of these schools to be able to help facilitate what we do, which is stream sports and have these shows and, long format interviews and things of that nature and our all-star games and everything that goes along with it. So we've been kind of pushed into a corner of you're taking money out of our pockets by whether it be schools, whether it be the OHSA itself, whether it be whatever. And yet, everywhere you look, what's that? What's the theme song? Everywhere you look, everywhere there's a heart, a hand to hold on to. Full House, right? Everywhere you look, people are making money off the backs of kids and these programs. None more apparent and absolutely ridiculous than I saw this past weekend at Ohio at the Shot. Look at what's on the floor. The OHSAA branded themselves, and I forget the name, so forgive me. The mats were all sponsored by one company. So the OHSAA, who takes money from what we do, so people wonder why we have to do these pay-per-views. Well, that's because the OHSAA puts a fee on each game and a different fee at every single level along the way. We've explained this before. Stop me if you've heard it. The OHSAA not only are taking media fees, so you can see your kids or your parents or grandma and grandpa or aunt and uncle, whoever, recruiters can see these kids. They're taking a fee from us. So that's why we pass along the pay-per-view. And then it comes along that they're limiting the passes, as I understand it. They're making more money off of these tournaments by what you can see the sponsorship all over. In fact, while I was preparing for today's show, I was receiving updates and it was sponsored by Chocolate Milk on behalf of the OHSAA. I'm an advocate for capitalism. I'm an advocate. Will always be an advocate for capitalism because I think any situation is what you make it. However, I feel like there's a little bit of double-edged sword here going on, not only by necessarily the OHSAA, but schools. And I think this is a question that needs to be asked a lot more at these school board meetings or by superintendents, two athletic directors. What is stopping them from doing exactly what we do? Because we hear it all the time. Well, we can do what you do. I'm not sure you can. And I think that the beast has grown too large for you to do anything about it now. Because the problem is, before there was the Latonia, South Range, Crestview, and Salem that took a flyer of faith on your sports network and someone like YSN, there was 29 no's that happened. Each and every turn, we were being told no because you're going to make money and it's a profit, for-profit company. It's not a nonprofit. Well, neither are schools, and neither is the OHSAA, as I understand it. And churches fall into that as well if we're going to go down that route. But here's what I'm saying. You cannot sit there and justify what we do and how we make revenue or share that revenue with you if you're going to do the exact same thing in turn. So the OHSAA and many people in schools have told me 100% with certainty who and what can be sponsors of YSN. There's an outline, right? There's parameters on who we can and cannot utilize as advertisers. Now, a lot of it's moral compass stuff. A lot of it is, okay, there's no gentlemen's clubs, there's no cigarettes, tobacco, alcohol, all that stuff when it comes to high school athletes. I get it. I understand. Moral compass always pointing north. I'm okay with that. Except when that moral compass turns sideways whenever it comes to dollars and cents for the district or the state or whatever it may be. That's when things get a little bit sideways. When you're charging, I want to say it was $25 a piece for a t-shirt at every single level. Now, the t-shirt, as I know, costs very little to make. Very little to make. And in talking to some of the people that produce those t-shirts during those state tournaments, they're not making a whole lot of money off of it. And the OHSAA gets to dictate, as I understand it, I will put the asterisks, the OHSAA gets to dictate how much those t-shirts and hoodies sell for. So let's get this straight. You're making money off of the media. You're making money off of the tickets. You're making money off of the actual event itself, I would imagine. You're making money off the t-shirts, the hoodies, the merchandise, the programs. I'm sure you've got some deal in the way of parking. You're making money at every single level. And yet I hear how broke the OHSAA is, still complaining about COVID when you were able to write all that off and, as I understand it, make a profit on it. So here's the mighty OHSAA and you know the form of they're going to tell you when. And oh by the way, at this tournament that they're the party that they're holding, it's Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Okay. It's your party. You get to pick it. Why are the kids getting back at 1:30 in the morning? Because you've got 4 days. 4 days to throw your party, to have your championship. And the parade last night, sometime at what? 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock at night on a Sunday night. Now, you've already had these kids out for 4 days. 2 of them are school days. And a lot of these kids are going to miss today because they were out so late last night. While I appreciate what the OHSAA is trying to do, the problem is when you're doing something like this, when you're holding your parade, when it's your jamboree and you're trying to make sure that it is about the kids, you can't take the kids away from the classroom for 3 or 4 days. You can't do it. It's not right. If you're promoting student athletes, then the student side of that has to come first. And you can sit there and say, well, it's their choice. They don't have to come. No. You can't get away with saying that because you're the one throwing the party. You want people at your party. You want that dollar, the almighty, that comes through, the turnstiles that keep on turning. You want the Schottenstein Center packed to the gills. You can't have it both ways. You can't have it, well, we want you there and we want your money, but student athlete comes first. Student comes first and student athlete. No, you're not doing that. In fact, it's frustrating for parents because this is the time, a lot of them, I would say, upperclassmen who are fighting for where they're going to rank in that walk across the stage. Are they going to be first or second? Are they going to be second or 50th? That's all well and good that they're going to be able to potentially say that they were a qualifier at state. But you're saying that you value the money over the product at every turn. And nothing more apparent than the mats that we saw. And to brag about them. There were media posts about them saying, look at it. First off, it was hideous. The colors that were chosen were absolutely hideous. And I understand that was the company's colors, and there's nothing you can do about that because that's where they get to say. They're not going to pay you I'm sure, hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars to have their branding and not have their colors ride with it. I would be in the same boat. But I would also know better to know, and people use the word sellout, and the OHSA is selling out to this particular company because this particular company is synonymous already with wrestling. So where is it going to stop? Where is it going to end? We have an entire week that these teams, Archbishop Hoban, could potentially be playing basketball for a state championship. You could have it on a Friday night. I understand that it's March Madness. I understand that it's St. Patty's Day. I understand all that. But what bigger opportunity do you have on a Friday night? Friday and Saturday. Bang, bang. To play your state semis and your state championship. But for some reason, we're walking all the way through this week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, just so we can play a state semifinal on Saturday night at 8:30 and then Sunday night at 8:30. To do what? To do what? It's about the almighty dollar. We want to get as many people. We don't care about the kids. We care about how many people we can funnel in to the Dayton, whatever it's called, the Dayton Center. I don't know what it's called. I'm not going to pretend to. This is a huge misstep. And let's be honest. If the OHSAA could paint a proud sponsor in Dayton on the floor, they do it. If they could cover the floor and put sponsors all over it, they do it. But they're sitting there telling us, now, you can't do this. I'm going to call my shot here. I'm going to call my shot. And some people have already told me I'm crazy, and you've probably heard this before already if you've talked to me in person. I'd be willing to bet within the next, I'm going to hedge my bets here and say 10 years. But I'd be willing to say that it'll happen prior to this, prior to the year 2033. There will be one or more potential advertisers or sponsors of the OHSAA that make you raise your eyebrow and wonder, what's going on here? The number one that I would imagine at some point is you will see a sports book sponsor the OHSAA. And you're probably shaking your head saying, there's no way, there's no way. Now, remember, Ohio just passed the law for sports betting in Ohio. And I'm not saying that we, or the state of Ohio, not we, that Ohio will allow sports betting on high school sports. I don't think that will happen. However, I think that sports betting brings in a lot of money. A lot of money. And I want to say that Ohio was ranked number 1 or number 2 during the bowl games. It'll be interesting to see where it ranks on March Madness. But I think that the sports books are smart enough and the marketing is broad enough that I think they can end up sponsoring the OHSAA and funding the OHSAA like nobody ever has. And they'll be able to do it because chocolate milk doesn't pay all the bills. I've said it before, and you'll hear that constantly. Chocolate milk doesn't pay all your bills. And I'm sure chocolate milk has a lot of money. They have to, or else they're getting a bargain of a marketing budget from the OHSAA. However, I know what these sports books have done, and I know how much money they have, and they would be absolutely insane to not at least kick the tires on organizations like the like the OHSAA. And you're going to ask why. Well, where do you think the majority of people, parents, uncles, aunts, whoever, who are potential sports bettors, not betting necessarily on high school sports, but potential sports bettors at different avenues, where do you think their kids, their interests, I should say, where do you think they are? They're probably playing sports, or they're connected in some capacity of that. So for, I don't even want to name names, but for some of those sports books to get involved with high school athletics, not having to worry about necessarily direct connection, but it's that layover effect, right? Why do you think layovers exist? Because, hey, if you're in the airport, you're probably going to spend some money on some stuff. And then we'll put you on another plane and we'll get you to your destination eventually. Same thing here. Sportsbook says, hey, we're going to be present in the marketing, the advertising of it. And we don't care that you're not betting directly with us on high school sports, but you're probably going to bet with us at some point. And you're going to do the brand recognition of the FanDuel, the Barstool, whatever it may be. DraftKings, MGM, whatever. That's called brand awareness advertising and marketing. And at some point, if the OHSAA is hurting the way that they say they are, one of these sports books is going to come in and say, hey, we print money. What do you want on the bottom line? And they'll write that check. They'll scratch that check right off. My question to you is, do you think that the OHSAA has the abundance and the ethics to say no to that check? Because I don't have a whole lot of faith in that. I think that comes through. And then the question becomes, well, do companies like YSN, do these other organizations, do they have the ability then to add on to the revenue? Because if the OHSAA can do it, why could not be on a sports stream? Or is it do as I say and not as I do? And I think that is probably the more likely of the two. Shelly Colucci, yep, she put it in. That's the branding that was all over the OHSAA mats. Will Rutledge says, what is worse, sports betting or tobacco alcohol sponsorship? Will, that's a great question. And I've asked that many times to many different people offline. I don't know that there's a better or worse. You know, I wonder, because if we're splitting hairs here, right? If we're splitting hairs, our intended audience, and that's what a lot of these, you know, when you look at the TVPG and all that stuff, our intended audience is actually adults, because the kids are on the floor or on the ground or on the turf or whatever it may be. The student athletes are on the turf. Our intended audience is probably 18 plus. But we play the game in such that we are a general audience sports network, meaning we want anybody to be able to watch our sports network, and parents feel good about it. And adults feel good about it. Kids leave not being influenced in any particular way. That being said, I think everybody knows that tobacco, alcohol, sports betting, they pay a lot of money to be in front of general audiences, because general audiences also include a wide variety of people at every different level, at every different age bracket, at every, like, we have had our door knocked on, I cannot tell you how many times, by some of these places. And they're willing to pay fines. They're willing to do whatever it takes to get in front of our audience. We had 8 million views last year on our website. We've got 4.5 million right now through March. Not even halfway through March. 4.5 million. What do you think that's going to be at the end of December? Like, YSN is on the map. We are on the map. And what that means is we're on everybody else's radar. So they want our viewers. We've said no to alcohol advertisements. We've said no. Well, tobacco's different. Tobacco can't technically do it on broadcast streams, but they can do it elsewhere. They have lawyers that know every crack and crevice of the law of how they can get it. And here's us. We have to make sure that our moral compass always points north. It doesn't matter how big that check is that they're going to write. Our moral compass always has to point north. So when you're sitting there and you're breaking down, okay, how much can we grow? What can we do? What money can we spend with these other entities on golf? These golf things that every school has, 17 of them. We have given out a lot of money, even during the train derailment, even during the times where we're not exactly sure what's going to happen. We've still been able to give out money and promote time after time after time after time. And I'm not going to get into the, we're better than you or whatever. No, this is because we want to give back. We cut checks because we want to give back, because we understand that this is our calling. Every show that you see here, I make it abundantly clear to every host, to every personality, the reason we can exist is because of you. And if we don't support you, then what are we doing? It's a give and take relationship. And I think the OHSAA and some of these school districts are failing to realize that if it wasn't for you, there would be no them. And this is, it feels like this is a take as much money while you can. You see businesses, I mean, I'm sure you've heard about the bank over the last couple of days that they've sold off shares of their company, they've given raises, and then they went out of business. The reality for everything is about bad business is, number one, if it walks like a duck and talks like a duck, it ain't a chicken. Don't let these companies, these organizations, these districts, these whatever it may be, do not let them fool you, right? If they're scraping in all this money and none of it's coming back out to influence or impact your kids or whatever they're doing, there's something wrong there. Walks like a duck, talks like a duck. It's a duck. From us, we're not certain about the future. We don't know what it looks like. Listen, I'm not going to sit here and play victim. We continue to be able to promote our students, our coaches, and our communities, which is priority number one. Are we nervous? Yes. Are we somewhat scared? Yes. But at the same time, there's a confidence that exudes from YSN because we represent you, and we don't want you to be nervous or scared. We want you to be confident in YSN because, listen, we started from nothing. If we go back to nothing, the entire time we were playing with house money. We're going to bet on us, on YSN, because we're going to win every single time. There's times where we'll fall, but we'll stand back up, and that's a win. Check the box. That's a win. I put it out today. Financially, and this is a lot of this, guys, is the business side of stuff, right? A lot of this stuff, but business to me is sports, right? And I'm not just saying because it's literally basketball and wrestling and softball and baseball and track and football and volleyball and all of them, lacrosse. I don't want to leave anybody out, swimming. But business to me is what sports was when I was younger. Sports was my drive. Sports got me ready for life. And now business in sports is my life. So I put it out earlier today, which I think got misconstrued on a couple. But if you know me and you understand how we started and how we became YSN, then I think you'll appreciate this. When YSN started, we didn't take out a loan. We put, my wife and I and Brian Scott, put our savings into YSN. That's how YSN came to be. The equipment, all that stuff, it was bought through my savings account. The last ditch effort. This is my legacy. If I have nothing else in my life and I die tomorrow, this is what I want to be known for, is YSN. $0 in loans, which was important to everybody involved because we didn't want to borrow money and have to pay back on something that maybe didn't work. I didn't want to have to rely on anybody else. I wanted to bet on me. No monies in loans. None. Zero. I'm going to pull this up because otherwise I'm going to forget what I even said. So no money in net loans, right? What else do we have? Survived a global pandemic. And not only, ladies and gentlemen, did we survive, but we thrived during it, right? And that was by force. That was by engagement. That was when nobody else could go to ball games. Everybody was scared or was unable to go to ball games. Our guys and gals stepped into it and said, we're going to lean in on this one. We're going to be there. We're going to engage because this is an opportunity. You can see it as a detriment and be scared, or you can see it as an opportunity and thrive. We saw it as an opportunity. We were hours away from closing our doors and saying, hey, you know what? Everybody else is out. We're out too. But that's not what I represent. That's not what the people of YSN we represent. We will find a way. That's what we do. We find a way, no matter what it takes. And we might get our hand slapped sometimes, but we're going to figure it out. We survived a pandemic. We thrived during a global pandemic. When the pandemic was over, and I'm not sure that it even is yet, they're handing out loans. They're handing out grants. This PPP grant. You know, I got a call today, saying, hey, we want to help you out. We want to give you a grant. How many W-2s? How many? Okay, I'm going to stop you right there. Those of you who are not in, I guess, tax efficient, as I've become to know, a W-2 means full-time or part-time, right? YSN has one full-time guy. One. This guy. That's it. That's all we have. So when they're handing out these PPP things, these grants, these loans, whatever, we don't qualify because we have W-9s. We have people that are basically contractors and love what they do, and they're just so happy to be getting paid. Same boat as me, right? But we're an LLC, a limited liability corporation. That's what we are. And they have one W-2. So every time I get to that point where I say, hey, we got one, click. They don't want to hear it. They can't help. They can't make any money off us because we have one W-2. So they don't want to talk to me anymore, waste their time. They hang up on me. That's it. We survived COVID without getting any of that money, the PPP loans. We didn't qualify. There were people that were ridiculous that qualified for that. Didn't get it. We weren't going to take out any more loans either because the SBA comes in and they say, hey, you know what? We'll give you this really low interest loan that you can pay on for the next 30 years. So you start thinking about what the next 30 years look like and what that looks like for you. And $18,000 is $88 a month and this and that and the other. Well, man, it'd be nice to have $18,000, but I got to pay it back. I didn't ask for this loan. We were doing okay. And then all of a sudden the COVID happens, right? Pandemic that we didn't ask for. So we don't get the PPP. That's fine. We get through it. We don't want a loan again. And we're rolling. We're rolling through it, right? February 3rd, I think everybody knows what happened. The train derailment. We didn't ask for that either. I'm not even in town. And yet I've got to put my business back together and make sure that we can continue. Now, this is the beginning of February. Continue what we're bringing to the table. The basketball coverage, the wrestling coverage, the interviews, all of that. We got to make sure that we can still bring that same intensity, that same level without dropping a beat. We got to bring that to the front, and we do. All during which I see that we're giving our tax dollars, and this is not a political statement. This is facts. Tax dollars that you and I pay, right? Tax dollars that I'm proud to pay as an American citizen, knowing that if we're ever in a bind, that hopefully we're bailed out or we are helped, funded by those tax dollars, to which I hear you're not being funded. We know you're hurting right now. Just hang on there. Hang on. Keep doing what you do. We're going to give $500 million to Ukraine. And, oh, by the way, in a couple of weeks here, whenever the bank fails, we're going to cover their tails too. But you, keep on keeping on, soldier. Keep on keeping on. So I got some breaking news for you. I didn't need anybody's help to start this thing, and I don't need anybody's help from the government or, from anybody elsewhere to keep it going. I got the people that have my back. That's you. YSN has the people that has its back. That's you. And while we don't know what we need right now, all I know is we have you, and we will survive and we will thrive. We will continue to go step by step, brick by daggone brick, building this baby back. And for the people that want to sit there and condemn us for what the choices that we have to make based out of business and not out of because we want to go out of business, I'm sorry. Go build your own sports company. Go build your own business. You're not sitting and you're not standing in my shoes. If you've got a problem with it, that's okay. You're allowed to have your opinion. But until you're standing in these shoes making the decisions that you have to make for this family and for the YSN family, don't care. You're not doing it. We are. We're making it. We've had so many great people reach out. We've had so many people not only reach out, but extend a hand up in a situation And I'm not just talking about East Palestine. I'm talking about my family. I'm talking about YSN. I couldn't be more grateful, incredibly grateful for the amount of people who understand what's going to happen, what could happen, what might happen, and what might never be. I will never stop putting feet to the fire for people that speak out of both sides of their mouth, like the OHSAA, like some of these school districts. And some of these school districts might go, hey, you're talking about us. We hate you. We're out. I can't help that. But I think it's very interesting that some of these districts, and right now I'm speaking to a school district specifically that doesn't even have YSN. So if you're thinking that it's you're probably wrong. Or maybe you're not. Maybe you're not. Maybe I'm hitting a nerve here. But I want to tell you that there's a lot of people that watch this program, and they're going to start questioning your involvement, your engagement, why YSN is paying royalty fees to do stuff that other schools don't charge us a dime for. They're going to start asking questions, and that's okay. But they should know, because we want clarity, right? I want clarity as much as they do. I'm grateful. I don't want anybody to take anything away other than that. I'm grateful for everybody in every single entity that has reached out and said, hey, listen, we have you. If you need anything, we've had people that say, hey, we'll write you bigger checks. Because a lot of those during COVID, when they couldn't write checks, we didn't take checks. That's the side of business that you're not going to understand. Many people are not going to understand. They're not going to want to see or hear, because they have their preconceived notions of who we are or who our advertisers are and what they do. Dig in a little bit. Understand that if you look around YSN, you look around the people that support YSN, you'll understand the kind of people that we surround ourselves with. People, businesses, industries, leaders. And if we don't associate with them, you probably want to raise your antennas a little bit. That's all I got to say about that's all I got to say about that. We have to take a break because, I still do have to pay some bills after all of this. When we'll come back, if you have questions, we'll close it out with questions. And we will talk quickly about the YSN All-Star Game coming up on March 25th to Beagley Center in Youngstown State University, on the campus of Youngstown State University. All that and more coming up right here on the back end of the YSN Power Hour, powered by our friends at Toyota of Warren. Thank you very much, Tino.
We believe expectations are made to be exceeded. At the new Toyota of Warren, it's about more than just getting a great deal. It's about service you can count on and a friendship you can trust. Year after year, we've done what we do best. We've gone the extra mile so you could too. Because we know it's just not about buying a new car. It's the start of a new adventure. Toyota of Warren, driven by you.
Before the lights come on, before the workday begins, before a long day is ended, or it's time to have fun, it all starts with the people at Joe Dickey Electric. From replacing a light fixture in your home to building a substation for your business, no job is too big or too small. The people of Joe Dickey Electric power them all. Joe Dickey Electric, over 60 years of powering the Mahoning Valley.
Why choose local? Because you live here, work here, learn here, relax here, and celebrate here. 21 WFMJ is our Valley's only locally owned TV station, and our focus is local. Other TV stations don't have that same focus, as their owners are somewhere else. But 21 WFMJ is rooted in the Valley. Local people making decisions that affect your life, right here where you live.
You're looking to your future, preparing for your goals, and they're closer than you think. Because here, success is part of the plan. It's a place where academic and social opportunities are meant to prepare you for life, not just the next 4 years. You'll be equipped to face new challenges and turn hard work into a career. you're ready for your success to take root. And here's where it starts. We are Youngstown State University, and proud.
Hi, this is Tommy Clem, owner of WRS Insurance Solutions.
WRS Insurance Solutions is a local independent agency that specializes in life, Medicare, long-term care, and disability products. Call us at 330-953-3722 or visit us at wrsinsurancesolutions.com to learn more.
Good luck to all the student athletes in the Valley.
All right, welcome back to the Power Hour, powered by our friends at Toyota of Warren. DJ Yoakley with you, trying to jump down off my soapbox. So we check the comments section right now. Let's go. Will says, have you had to turn away sponsors due to their industry or affiliation? The answer to that, yes. I'm not going to tell you which ones we've had to turn away. But yes, we've had to turn away sponsors, advertisers due to affiliation and industry. So that, I mean, I can tell you there's been more than one opportunity for us to make a lot more money. But obviously we understand that there is, again, that moral compass that we need to stay true to. And it's not just for our good, but it's also for the health and well-being of communities, the coaches, and the student athletes. You know, we have to weigh risk and reward. And I think every student athlete, every coach, and every community has to do that individually as well, right? When you're talking about a school district, when you're talking about a corporation, when you're talking about any level of anything you're in, you have to be able to take risk and reward, put it on a scale, and see which one kind of weighs out. You want them to be, usually you want it little risk, high reward, but ideally when you realize this, you want them to be as even as possible, right? Because very little times in life are you going to get the low risk, high reward opportunity. I mean, those are the and I know I'm using sports betting a lot, but it's in my mind. I mean, that's betting on the Steelers right now to win the Super Bowl. That's betting on the Browns to win the Super Bowl. That's plus 10,000 odds. So if you put down, $1, you're going to win $10,000. So like it's one of those situations where, low risk, high reward. Sure. Put $1 down, put $5 down, and I'm the kind of guy that goes, oh, put $10. What's $10? That's a meal at McDonald's nowadays. But the odds of them winning that is very slim to none. So, the reward's high, the risk is low, I guess, relatively speaking. But yeah, Will, it's frustrating because I wish that it was, hey, you want to advertise with us? Let's go. But all it takes is, somebody that is looking at our advertising and they go, wait a minute. And the frustrating part is, even if we had one of our absolutely squeaky clean advertisers or sponsors, people still walk up to me or send me emails about why we shouldn't support somebody. And I will tell you this, every single advertiser that we have, I have long discussions with about what they're looking to get out of it and why they want to advertise with us. If they're just looking for brand awareness, if they're just looking for, probably not the right place. Although we can get a lot of eyes on your product, that's not our goal. Our goal is a partnership. Our goal is to be able to represent you as if you were doing it. I can tell you 100% transparency that you look up down every single one of our advertisers and sponsors. One of the main reasons that they advertise with us or somebody else is they get to deal with me, the guy who, it's my brand. I had a discussion today. Anytime that this face, this ugly mug, leaves YSN follows it. I can be on interviews from Fox and CNN and whatever, which is all great. It's all gravy. But I don't even have to wear a YSN thing, and people know exactly where I'm from and what I represent. That's the dangers of owning a business, right? But it's also, the great thing about owning a business is what I set out 6 years ago to create, my legacy, those 3 letters, those 2 stars, will be forever etched right next to my name and Brian's name and Anthony's name and anybody, Richie. Go down the roster. Every single person. Quinn Pushkar, Steve Leslie, Gary Niddle. I mean, you go down every single notch of our roster, and they represent something bigger than them. They represent your community, your coaches, your student athletes, your school district, your advertiser, your business, all of these things. And I have to take that into account with every single signature that goes on the bottom line. We represent their businesses, our sponsors and our advertisers as much as we do YSN. So it would be in my best interest to continue to make sure that I make the best decisions for my brand, our brand, because it is yours. So that way I'm not picking dollar signs over your kids. The same thing that I just preached about for 30 minutes. There's going to be a day. There's going to be a day that someone comes to me and says, here it is. And I've got to do what's best for my family, but I promise you I will do the exact same thing for this business. That day is not today. That day is probably not anywhere near here because our mission is not even close to accomplished. But yes, long way around the question. Have you had to turn away sponsors for their industry affiliation? Yes, we have. Sammy's on the boat. We know he's there. Beef. Oh, Beagley. Yes. Saying not the Bigley Center, the Beagley Center. Or Begley Center. Yes, it's the Beagley Center. Beagley. You say it fast enough. Like I've noticed it, but you say it fast enough and nobody can figure it out because there's still a little bit. The majority of our audience is from Northeast Ohio, Western Pennsylvania. So if you pronounce it the Begley Center, ain't nobody going to know. Ain't nobody going to know the difference, Sammy, about the Begley Center, okay? It is the Beagley Center. But I can appreciate you. And listen, that's called self-correction. That is Sam Torres at his finest. The stand-up dude, one of my ride or dies. And you want to talk about YSN, people that are etched and just branded YSN. Sam Torres, he is a ride or die guy with those three letters. While he loves his 440, methinks that he's starting to embrace YSN big time. Check in with Sam every weekday morning at 8 o'clock. Wake up with Torres. Have to. Cup of coffee and a little bit of Sammy Torres. Whew, your day is set. The tone is set for the day. Get it going. I'm hoping to pop on his show one of these days and we could turn it up. Crank her up. There will be no morning that you will ever have like a Sam and DJ morning because that's, if you've ever been around us, it's just constantly. Maybe a little bit of bickering. We may or may not have stayed up till about 3 a.m. one night bickering back and forth about Ashtabula versus Mahoning Valley. Maybe we'll do it on air sometime. He loves to push my buttons. I will tell you that. He loves to just click that button. Beep. Hit that button. Loves it. Lives for it. All right. We're going to wrap things up today. Let's go to our What's Your Spark presented by our friends at Joe Dickey Electric. You talk about great sponsors. Eric Carlson and the folks over at Joe Dickey Electric. Phenomenal. Been down since day one. We love you. We appreciate you. And again, if you want to become, and here's my pitch, if you want to become a sponsor or an advertiser on YSN, head over to ysnlive.com/advertise. Put me in the thread, in the notes, the comments. I will contact you personally and we will get things up and going for you. We just signed one that I'm really excited to announce later today. Once the ink is dried on the contract, we are excited to announce some of the things. One of them happening on Friday that we want you to be a part of. So make sure that you're watching our social media channels. All right, where is the freaking, there it is. Joe Dickey Electric, What's Your Spark, presented by Joe Dickey Electric. Anything commercial, residential, anything electrical, anything that makes you go, you need to head over to DickeyElectric.com. All right, so I talked about the idealisms, I guess, ideology of the sponsorship and the advertising portion of it. I do want to draw attention to a movie that I cannot wait to see. And if you know me, I'm not a movie guy per se in the theaters, but I can watch them here and there. There's a movie out there called Champions right now that hits a super chord with me that I cannot wait. This might be an actual movie that I haven't seen a movie, I don't think, since Superman Returns in the theaters. So you're talking like easily 15, 20 years. This Champions stars Woody Harrelson and a group of special needs individuals that are playing basketball. And this one hits home with me on so many different levels, because if you know me, you know that I love everybody that loves sports. And I want to give anybody and everybody a chance to talk about sports, no matter where you are, whether you're special needs, whether you're a Super Bowl champion. Don't care. If you love sports, I know that's in your heart. We're going to give you a chance to talk sports. There's a lot of special people to me that have developmental disabilities, like very special people that I love more than I love myself. And this movie, everything that I've heard about it ranks it right up there. And I give a lot of credit to guys like Woody Harrelson, who, they're a big time celebrity, right? Big time. And I didn't watch a whole lot of the Oscars. I flipped it on and flipped it back and forth. I wanted to see, quite honestly, if they said anything about East Palestine or anything about inclusion in special needs and developmental disabilities, but I didn't see it happen on either front. And I was a little bit disappointed, because when we think about inclusion, we think about a lot of things, but we don't necessarily always think about developmental disabilities. So I encourage you, if you ever have a platform, if you ever have an opportunity to let some of these people, these wonderful, wonderful, wonderful people, be part of your story, be part of what you're building, do it, because they will not let you down. They are very important people in the very foundation that YSN has built. They will be instrumental in how we progress, and I will always have a seat at them at the table. That is our show for today. God bless you. I hope you have a great start to your week, and I hope you keep just paddling through it. Just have faith. Whatever you're going through, have faith. Know that we're here. We will always be here, and we will continue to give you something to smile at least once a day, right here on the YSN Power Hour. I'll see you tomorrow from 3 to 4, right here on your sports network. God bless you. YSN thanks you for